Welcome. Welcome to the urinary system. When it comes to anatomy, it's pretty straightforward. Not a whole heck of a lot, to be honest, especially compared to the digestive system. Um, but there is quite a bit of physiology. We tried to streamline it quite a bit for you guys. And a few things are changing a little bit in how they're approaching this anyway. So there are some changes. So if you've taken this in the past, you're going to notice that there's a lot of stuff that's been kind of peeled back and peeled away. So because some information has changed within this chapter. So let's look at it here, guys. What do we have? Ta-da! Here it is. Here are your kidneys, your ureters, your urinary bladder, your urethra, and that's basically it. Those structures help to form urine, transport urine, store it, and get rid of it. So it's going to be involved in helping to, regulate water levels with the body, which is going to affect blood pressure. We're going to affect how we hold on to different nutrients. So it's going to regulate ion levels, get rid of metabolic waste, help regulate pH balance within the body by altering levels of hydrogen ions or bicarbonate ions. Pretty similar to what we saw with the respiratory system in that regard. Eliminating biologically active molecules like drug metabolites, hormones, all sorts of fun stuff. It'll be involved with the formation of calcitrol, helps to create erythropoietin, EPO, can do some other things during starvation and whatnot in terms of gluconeogenesis. So there's a lot of fun stuff that occurs here. These are some of the major ones that we have. Obviously, we got to look at the anatomy before we get going on anything else. So let's look at the gross anatomy of it. It's shaped like a kidney bean. There you go. Let me draw one for you. I'm really good at this. There you go. And then there's the ureter that comes out. Okay, so right there, kidney bean shaped. We have the concave region right here. That's the hilum. That's where the blood vessels enter, nerves, lymphatics, and it's where the ureter leaves the kidney. Adrenal gland sits right on top. Okay, there's its little hat that sits on it. That's really about it. It's retroperitoneal. What else? Right kidney is a little bit lower than the left. That's just because of the liver. So if you do palpate the kidneys during a patient exam, the kidney on the right is a smidge lower just because of the liver. When we look at it kind of superiorly down, you can really get a context of that being truly retroperitoneal. And here you can see it's kind of squished to the outside. There's the peritoneum. Okay. Right there. And there's the kidneys. You can see they're wrapped in a little bit of fat. A little bit of fat's okay. Okay, a little bit of it is okay. It helps to cushion, helps to protect it. We have a dense kind of fibrous capsule, and that will define the shape of it. And then we have an outer connective tissue layer that will be the surface of it. So not too much there. And I'm sorry, this isn't very exciting. I love this picture though, because you kind of see the vertebra and the back musculature. You can see some of the musculature anterior to the spine that's involved with helping to hold the curvature there. Where the fat is, where some of the organs are within the system. So it's a pretty cool image there. When we take it out and start to look at it though, cut it in half, then we start to see where all the fun stuff here is. Okay, and this is where we really kind of start getting after it. We have a series of, and it's very hard to see right there. Ooh, excuse me. It's very hard to see on the dissected model. It's easier to kind of look at if you have it right in front of your face. But there on this model here, the artist rendition, You can see we have a defined, and you can see that defined area right there of renal cortex, okay? May not be very obvious in a few spots, but that's all that right there, and that's all of that right there. And it's always outer. All of this region right here is going to be the renal medulla, okay? The renal medulla is all kind of this region right in here. It's the middle part. That, oh, eraser. There we go. All right. The renal columns and renal pyramids. We have renal columns, and this is an extension. I'm just going to outline it in blue here. This is an extension of the cortex that goes deep into the medulla here, and it helps to compartmentalize the inside of the kidney. This is major function. Extension of cortex helps compartmentalize. It's going to divide it up into what's called a renal lobe. We have a renal pyramid, and you can see it right here. Okay, and here you can see that same structure right there. There's the renal pyramid. The renal pyramid is divided by those renal columns, and again, it helps to form, those renal columns help to form a functional area, if you will, and that's going to be the renal lobe. Medial apex. There's a renal papillae, and the renal papillae is this little thing. I'm going to go right here. Renal papillae right here. See how this kind of abuts into this kind of little cup-like structure right here? That's called the renal papillae. Inside the renal pyramids, guys, I'll give you a spoiler alert. This is where we are going to have urine formation occurring. So as we form urine, we're going to shuttle it out into that little tubular cup-like structure right there that my pen is pointed at. There it is. The renal lobe, this is kind of that functional area. It consists of the renal pyramid and the two sides of the renal column. It just defines where the action is happening. There's a renal sinus. I'm not going to ask you about a renal sinus. It consists of a number of just cup-like structures. That's all they are. So I probably won't ask it. But what I would ask about is we have minor calyx, major calyx, and the renal pelvis. The minor calyx is right here. It just means small cup. That's all it means. So right here, where I have my blue dot, that is a minor calyx. And there are several. Okay. All of these are minor calyces. Okay. Minor calyx, minor calyx, minor calyx, minor calyx. From here, urine gets shuffled to kind of this region right here. I'm just going to circle it up. And there's only like 2 to 3 per kidney for these. These are called major calyces, big cups. As we continue to filter urine from the renal lobe here, the renal pyramid, down into the minor calyx, into the major calyx, we dump it into what's called the renal pelvis. It's just an enlarged area where all the major calyces merge together. And then that funnels the urine down into Mrs. Ureter, right there. And that's it. That's it when it comes to the anatomy. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward.